Good afternoon, girls. Today, let us discuss what is industrial policy. In short, we can say what is new industrial policy 1991. On July 24, 1991, the government headed by Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao announced a new industrial policy which sought to drastically alter the industrial scenario of our country. There are several fundamental departures in the new policy. The most important initiatives are with respect to virtual scrapping of industrial licensing and registration policies, an end to the monopoly law, and a more welcoming approach to foreign investments, apart from redefining the role of the public sector. These measures, long overdue, are welcome as they would be free from industry, from regulations, most of which I have outlined their utility. Means here we can say once again that industry has played a central role in India's development effort, means a pivotal role. Industry has even enjoyed a special position as the sector that would lead India into a modern world. And one more thing, girls, the industry reduces the economic dependence on other countries because it generates more income to eliminate poverty. The government of India recognizes the need for social and economic justice to end the poverty and unemployment and to build a modern, democratic, socialist, prosperous and forward-looking country. India to grow as part of the world economy and not in an isolation stage. The enhanced support to the small-scale sector so that it flourishes in an environment of economic efficiency and continuous technological upgradation. And not only these, girls, the new industrial policy even lays emphasis on building our ability to pay for imports through our own foreign exchange earnings. Now, let us see what are the objectives of industrial policy 1991. Apart from the few discussed, means like self-reliance to build on the many one-sided already made, encouragement to Indian entrepreneurship, development of indigenous technology through greater investments in research and development, removing the regulatory system and other weaknesses, increasing the competitiveness of industries for the benefit of the common man, and enhanced support to the small scale sectors. Not only these, girls, apart from this, ensure running of public sector undertakings on business lines and cut their losses, protect the interests of the weaker sections, and abolish the monopoly of any sector in any field of manufacture except on strategic or security grounds. Apart from this, we have 4 to 5 more objectives which gives utmost importance. Means in pursuit of the above objectives, the government has decided even to take a series of initiatives in respect of policies, under which the first one is industrial licensing, foreign investment, foreign technology agreements, public sector policy and MRTP Act. Let us discuss one by one. First, to start with, the industrial licensing. Industrial licensing is governed by the Industries Development and Regulation Act 1951. In order to achieve the objectives of the strategy for the industrial policy sector for 1990 and beyond, it is necessary to make a number of changes in the system of industrial approvals. Means, industrial licensing abolished for all projects except a short list of 18 industries related to security, strategic concerns, social reasons, hazardous chemicals, etc. And the second point is areas where security and strategic concerns predominate, reserved for public sector. Next one is in projects where imported capital goods are required, automatic clearance will be given. In locations other than cities of more than 1 million population, no requirement of obtaining industrial approvals from central government. Incentives and investments of infrastructure development to promote dispersal to rural backward areas. And existing units can be enabled to produce any article without additional investment. So these were the plates importance of industrial licensing. Let us see the next one, that is foreign investment. Means this foreign investment was given approval up to 51% in foreign equity in high priority industries. and promotion of exports Indian products calls for synergetic exploration of world markets possible only through intensive and highly processional marketing activities. To the extent that expertise of this nature is not well developed so far in India, government will encourage foreign trading companies to assist us in export activities also. Attraction of substantial investment and access to high technology often closely held and to world markets. Imports governed by general policy applicable to other domestic units, payment of dividends monitored by RBI to ensure outflows on account of dividends are balanced to export other earnings. Other foreign equity proposals not covered above need priority clearance. A special empowered board to negotiate with a number of large international firms to get FDIs is also approved under this point. And the next one is foreign technology agreements. There is a great need for promoting an industrial environment where the acquisition of technical capacity receives priority. In the fast changing world of technology, the relationship between the suppliers and the users of technology must be a continuous process. Such a relationship becomes difficult to achieve when the approval process includes unnecessary governmental interference on a case-to-case basis involving endemic delays and fostering uncertainty. The Indian entrepreneur has now come to age that he no longer needs such bureaucratic clearances for his commercial technology relationships with foreign technology suppliers. Indian industry can scarcely be competitive with the rest of the world if it is to operate which a regulatory environment is provided. Means here we can say automatic permissions for foreign technology agreements in high priority industries such a lump sum payment of ₹1 crore, and the second point for industries other than those which are in high priority, automatic permissions if no foreign exchange is required for payment. And next one, all other proposals need specific approval. And the last one, no permission for foreign technicians, foreign testing of indigenously developed technologies. And the last but one is public sector policy. The Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956 gave the public sector a strategic role in the economy. Massive investments have been made over the past 4 decades to build a public sector which has a commanding role in the economy. Today, key sectors of the economy are dominated by major mature public enterprises that have successfully expanded production, opened up a new area of technology, and built up a reserve of technical competence in a number of areas. So we can say portfolio of the public sector investments reviewed with a view to focus public sector on strategic high technology and essential infrastructure. Next one, a part of government's shareholdings in the public sector offered to mutual funds, financial institutions, public and workers. Boards of public sector companies more professional and powerful. Means we can say the government will strengthen these public enterprises which fall in the reserved areas of operation or in high priority areas are generating goods or reasonable profits. The MOU system means managements would be granted greater autonomy and held accountable. And the last point is MRTP Act, Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act. Simultaneously, the provisions of MRTP Act will be strengthened in order to enable the MRTP Commission to take appropriate action in respect of monopolistic, restrictive and unfair trade practices. The newly empowered MRTP Commission will be encouraged to require investigation, suo motu, or complaints received from individual consumers or classes of consumers. Removal of the threshold limits of assets in respect of MRTP companies and dominant undertakings, elimination of need of prior approval of central government for establishment, expanding, merger, amalgamation and takeover, emphasis on controlling and regulating monopolistic trade and unfair trade practices, and the last one, enabling the MRTP Commission to exercise punitive and compensatory powers. Now let us see what is the impact of Industrial Policy 1991 in business and industry. In a nutshell, we can say that It has changed the technology. Means the 1991 policy system is truly historic, whether it is the result of IMF pressure or our own country realization that the time has come to open up the economy. So this particular changes long overdue need to be welcomed as a bold initiative aimed to making Indian industry more competitive internally as well as internationally, and at freezing the industry from needless and irksome controls, most of which have outlined their utility. Through this, we have even attained product diversity, market concentration, geographical dispersion, destabilization of protected environment, export a matter of survival, all-round competition, and the last one, buyer's market. Means we say finally the new industrial policy statement is a most welcome package. There is a greater reliance on the market, a bold attempt at a deregulation, a desire to integrate with the world economy and to modernize. Thank you, girls.